All right, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. If I can get somebody in the chat, let me know my audio is working okay. Friendly Bear Matis, how you doing? It's true, we occasionally do art. Specifically, this is we Wade, how you doing? Specifically, this is a class of the University of Utah. So if anyone's not my students, you're welcome to hang out, of course. But we're going over the first project for EAE. Excuse me. For EAE 3100, it's a level design course where we're talking about a little bit about Unreal Engine today. Sounds good, I'm told. Scruffy says we good. Awesome, Scruffy. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Game Array Official, how's it going? Friendly Bear. Awesome. So it sounds like it's working well. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about level design. For those of you, the idea with this the first assignment here is just getting up and started in Unreal Engine. So the name of that first assignment is Hello Minecraft. So we're going to make essentially a Minecraft style world in Unreal Engine. So like I mentioned in class earlier, if you take a look, even if you just Google Minecraft level design, there's some pretty cool images that pop up that just show you how much cool stuff you can do with just blocks. So here, like even something simple like this is a cave scene. This is pretty rad with these castles, these different blocks. This is pretty rad. This is kind of this looks like a Wreck-It Ralph, right? Kind of like a blocky candy type environment, landscape. A lot of good feel to it. All right. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you who aren't familiar with Unreal, we're going to kick it off. If you go and download the Epic Games Launcher, if you're not familiar with that, I will put some links up, or if Gabe, if our TA is listening, if you could put some links in the Discord on how to find the Epic Games Launcher, get signed up with that. But you're going to want to crack that open, and we're just going to start right off. After you've installed that, one of the things I didn't include with my previous demo that's on Canvas is how to actually record your 1 minute footage. So I'm going to go over how to do that live here as well at the end of this project, and just using OBS to record that 1 minute of footage, just really quick with just the general settings in there. Okay, so in here, in the Epic Games Launcher, you have your games library, but you also have Unreal Engine 4. If you really want to use Unreal Engine 5, you're welcome to. It is not an official release yet, so you will have issues. But there's probably some cool stuff you could play with in there. And I imagine if we keep things very simple like we're going to do in this class, you could probably cover most of the stuff we do in Unreal Engine 5 just to say you did. But I'm going to stick with a stable build of Unreal, which I'm using the 4.26. And just remember, it's probably going to take you a little while to download that. And you can go back and download your different versions of the engine here. So we're going to click on launch 4.26.2 and check that out. And it's going to take a little while. So that's the way Unreal Engine works. I actually don't have Canvas on this computer, but I did pre-download the cube file, the same one that's on Canvas, that you can import into your file. So I already have that saved on my desktop. So to start this out, we're going to keep this as simple as possible. I could start out with a blank scene, but I just want to keep this very general and simple. If you are seasoned in Unreal and you have a better way to start this out, you do not have to do it this way, but I want to keep it kind of very simple for those who are new to start their own project. So We Wade LOL says, so can we use some of those cubes, create blueprints to make some game mechanics out of them? For this assignment, no. I'm hoping you don't. WCY asked, should we use 4.26 or 2.7? You can use either one. You can use 27 if you 2.7 if you want to. Because we're going to create executables, it really doesn't matter which version you're going to use. I'm not going to open your project files in this class. I may go over them and take a look at the blueprints later on that you're working on, but we're trying to answer your question, Wade, we're actually trying to avoid blueprints altogether on this intro assignment. I always have students who break the rules, but that generally we're trying to avoid blueprints just yet, and we'll use them on the next one. Rex the Fool says usually the latest one is the best one. Sometimes. A lot of game engines end up having safe versions and then newer versions. I don't know. There probably is a newer one. I think 4.26 was the last one I was using. You're welcome to use 4.27. Okay, so we're going to start a new project. So here you're going to go to the Games tab because we're making a game. We're going to hit Next. And then the template we want to use, and this is the beautiful thing about templates, is I actually love this in Unreal Engine. If you're just trying to prototype or get something started, they help you out with some pretty nice templates. So they have if you look at these, you have a first-person shooter template, which you're shooting like little tennis balls out, a flying template with a little flying vehicle, puzzle template. I've actually never used that. If you want to make a rolling game, it starts with your player character being a ball that kind of rolls around. The third person, top down, twin stick shooter, handheld AR, side scroller, 2D side scroller, and vehicle. So the only two that are three actually, depending on what kind of game you choose. The main ones we're going to use as our bread and butter for this course is the first person, third person, and the side scroller are kind of the ones we're going to use. I've had students use like the vehicle one for their final project, and that's fine too. But really, those are the ones that really are kind of what we're looking at for this class. So for this assignment, I'm going to use the third person template, and I'm going to hit Next. And I prefer everyone use the third person for this particular assignment. And then here's some choices for our project settings. If your project settings don't already say blueprints, I would suggest just putting it on blueprints. If you're an engineer who really knows C++, you're welcome to use C++. We're going to say blueprints, even though we're not really going to use any blueprints for this first assignment. This is just a 1 week assignment. And so really, if you're going to hop into blueprints and start building out mechanics, you're going to be spending your time doing that instead of building out the level to run around with. So that being said, we're going to leave that on blueprints. Here's some adjustments you can use. I've had students in my previous session act about what if they have a low spec computer. This is where you can fix that, right? And make things a little easier on yourself. So if you actually change the maximum quality down to scalable 3D or 2D, and ray tracing is already disabled, but you can actually lower the quality so that you're not as CPU intensive with what you're creating. And that's perfectly fine for this class. I've taught classes at different universities where they didn't have the most up-to-date computers, so we used the minimum quality settings. Foix says, I've been building my own over-the-shoulder third-person cam for a personal project. Is that all right if I use that? Yeah, that's fine. It's still basically third person, right? So yeah, I'm okay with that. As long as you're not doing any more like blueprint work, I want you to focus just on building a level with the cubes. Starter content, we'll just leave that there. Just so you're aware, if you're making a mobile game, you can actually build this for desktop and console or mobile tablet. One of the nice things about the mobile tablet version, if you are making a mobile game, by default, it has the little virtual joysticks in there, so you can test out the virtual joysticks on your desktop, etc., which is kind of fun. So then you're going to want to set a location for your project to be stored. This is always handy. If you're working on school computers, make sure you save this so you can work on it at home. By default, it's called My Project. I created a folder on the C drive called Level Design Class, and so I am just going to name my project. Here's what you should do, actually. This is good practice, is put your name on it. At the beginning, like either your last name is always good, or some initials. Otherwise, when I go to grade these and I maybe download them all in bulk, they all say my project, Hello Minecraft project, and I don't know whose they are. And so on this one, just to keep my anonymity, I'm just going to call it CPP for Checkpoint Professor underscore Hello Minecraft. And then I will just call this like 001 because I might make another one. Can't be more than 20 characters. 01. 1. Fine. I used too many characters. But we'll keep it there. Okay, so we're going to create this project. Hit the green button. I'm saying 1 because there's a good chance I may do this again tomorrow. For anyone who really wants to watch this live on stream again. Okay, so here's our project really quick. Templates come with some pre-built stuff. Just to go over the controls really quick. So your middle mouse button will zoom in and out. It's a little bit like Maya if you've used Maya, which is a prerequisite for this class, but the controls are a little bit different, so they take some getting used to. So middle mouse is zoom out. Middle mouse, holding down middle mouse will pan up, down, left, right. And then right mouse is rotate, essentially. And so is left mouse button. So one of the things I'm going to do is I don't want all this starter content that kind of comes with the template. So just to keep things simple for everybody, I'm just going to select these. Up here in the world outliner, this is much like the outliner in Maya, is that you can see all the objects, assets, and actors that are in your world. So you can either select those in the outliner. So you have your floor, your different walls. Notice they're named so you know what they are. I'm just going to hit delete on those. You have this weird little stair geometry in here. Holding down shift, I can select multiple objects. Just going to delete all those. This text in here, we'll delete that. We'll leave some stuff. You have some of these volumes in here. I don't really need a lot of this stuff. You can see, here's your player start. It's the character right there. If you select it, it shows where the camera's viewing it. This network start position, I don't need that. I don't need the stairs. I could leave a lot of this stuff and it wouldn't matter, but I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of cleanup here before we import our cube. Okay. Hopefully everybody's with me so far. Otherwise, you can just watch the VOD, the magic of live streaming. So now I have my level here, right? Problem is if I hit play, I'm not standing on anything, so I'd fall. I fall and I die. I hit escape, brings me back up. Much like Maya, if you get lost in your scene, you can select something in your scene, like here's the third person character. And if I hit F, this is the same thing that happens in Maya. It focuses in on that object, brings your camera, your viewport back up to it. So I can bring it right back up to my little mannequin character. We're going to get started really quick on this. So the biggest part of this level is I need to get that cube in that we downloaded. So if I look on my desktop here, actually I have it saved on a thumb drive right here. This fancy drive is my obj underscore cube underscore bevel. That's the geometry, the Minecraft cube that we're going to use as our level building kit for this level. And so I'm going to select that. And one of the easy ways to import this is to actually import it right into our projects file. There's a couple different ways we could do this. I'm going to do it right in that initial folder that we created earlier. I'm going to hit Control N to bring up another full file structure. And so we're going to look under the C drive. I saved this under level design class. Here you can see my CPP Hello Minecraft folder. This is my project folder for this game. I'm going to double click that and I have some different file structures in here. One of them is content. So underneath content, you can see all the stuff that was pre-built in here. I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to rename this. We actually already have one called geometry, so I'm actually going to use that. So forget that. I'm going to delete that new folder. I'm just going to go under my geometry tab here. We have one called meshes. So we'll select this. These are some assets that came with the game naturally. But I'm just going to grab my cube folder, my cube object here, and I'm going to drag and drop that right into my folder. And so once you do that, Unreal will actually notice that you've popped that in there. and it will say a change to a source content file has been detected. Would you like to import it? So you drop it in that folder, and Unreal will actually recognize it and say, hey, do you want that in your project? And I will say, yes, please import that. And I'm just, for the sake of this, I'm just going to keep everything at its defaults, import all. And now they have been added in there. So underneath here, we have the world outliner up here that shows everything that's currently in your game. And then you have your content browser that shows you all the possible content for your game down here on the bottom half. Right, so I'm actually going to click on content on this one and go to geometry and open up my meshes folder. And you can see here that I have my OBJ cube bevel, which has been added to my file, right? So essentially, this is the homework assignment, is just going through this process. And you could just turn off the video now or turn off the Twitch and probably somewhat understand how to create this whole level after this next step. But I wanted to add a little bit more to it, just to kind of help you design your level faster. And I have had students in the past write scripts to help them duplicate and place these much quicker. Man, if you think that'll help you design faster, you have at it, but I'm just going to go over a few small things. So this OBJ cube bevel that's down here, I'm actually just going to drag and drop that into my scene right here. So if I click on it, drag it right into my game scene and then release it, it will place it in my scene. And you can see it kind of placed it almost under my main character. So I'm going to adjust it a little bit and put it right under his feet. Make sure it's where I want it to be. Zoom in on him. Pretty close. Okay, let's do a little bit better job. All right. So now if I hit play, you can see it's beautiful. I made a level, right? And if I click on it, look, I can jump on my block. Pretty awesome level I've created. Technically, and don't do this, if we now just created an executable and 1 minute of gameplay footage, technically that's enough for 100% on this assignment. Those are the three things I'm looking for, is that you have a game, you've created a functioning executable, and a video for it. 1 minute of gameplay for this might be a little bit boring, but to each their own. I guess this could be their own type of game, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna hit escape to go out of play mode. And now you can see I can kind of slide this cube wherever I want. One of the easier ways to actually manage this for adjusting it. Bo says, can we use a plane for ground and build on top of that? No, because I'm mean. You need to copy and paste these cubes. Let me show you how to do it a little bit faster. So we're going to set these up a little bit better. One of the nice things is notice up here, by default, we're in the move tool, and that's all you really need for this because we are not going to rotate or scale this cube. But if you notice up here, up at the top here, underneath play, you've got your transform tool. You've got, if you click on this, rotate, like this would be to rotate the cube, but we're not rotating for this assignment, or this would scale the cube. But we're not scaling it. That's against the rules. So we don't have to worry about those, but that's where they are. So we're going to go back to our translate tool, and you notice over here, the next one's to the right. This is enables and disables snapping to the grid. Excuse me. So we can use this to our advantage. And so we're going to adjust this grid a little bit. So you notice if I go from snap grid size to 10 to 50, so we've changed our grid size to 50, you notice it does much bigger snaps. And if we change this to 100, it actually snaps it a perfect 1 block space. Raider Gundam said I would use a plane to snap the cube on it or delete the plane afterwards. This is actually going to help you with that, using the 100 grid snapping tool, because now it helps me snap them. So really, if I hold down Alt now and select that cube, I can actually duplicate it. So holding Alt and moving an object duplicates that object. So now just holding it down, I can duplicate it on 1-to-1 spaces. So to see really fast, I can start building out that ground plane that you kind of were talking about, right? So we're starting to build something a little bit more interesting. And now I'm actually going to hold Shift like we talked about earlier, and select all of these cubes. So I have all 9 of these selected. I'm going to hold down Alt again, and I can snap all of them now. So I can start building out ground plane much faster, right? So hit play again. Now we have a little bit of space to run around, to start around. All right. So you can see you can start building out pretty quick just with a few quick tools at your disposal. So I'm going to change something a little bit. Part of the reason is now that I've set that grid snapping to 100, if I were to actually grab a new cube in here, it actually wouldn't match up to what those were, because I want it to snap on that 1-to-1. So I'm actually going to grab in the outliner, I'm going to grab all of these cubes and delete them. And this is what I was talking about. If you want to leave these all gray, that's perfectly fine. But I want to do something a little different. I want to have some primary colors to play with. You know, I want to create 4 or 5 colors that I can kind of start creating, you know, the idea of grass or dirt or whatever. But we're just going to keep it simple, just to show you in for the class without using any blueprints or anything. This is a next step you can take, but you're not required to for this one. I'm actually going to right click on this OBJ cube bevel and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm just going to rename it real quick. And we'll just call it object underscore cube. We'll call it cube red. We'll duplicate that one. And we'll call it obj underscore cube blue. And we'll duplicate that one. And we'll call it obj underscore cube, what, yellow? Yeah, so those are the primary colors there. We'll just start with that. So this will allow us to create something a little bit more like some of the images we saw, if you want to. There's something beautiful about using a monochromatic palette as well. So you're welcome to use the gray or change the color a little bit. But I did want to go over really quickly how to just really quickly make some materials in Unreal, just in the most simplest way. So we're going to, in our content browser, just so we can keep everything organized, we could just keep everything in a main folder, but we want to organize a little bit. We're going to go to content. Currently, I don't have any material folders, so I'm just going to make my own. So we'll go to the base folder, which is content. We'll hit new folder, and we'll call this one materials. Hit enter. We're going to open this one up. And we are going to, inside here under the materials folder, I'm going to right click and select material. So we're going to create a new material. And it's right here on the side of my head because Twitch, right? We're just going to call this MAT for material. Man, I think we'll just call it cube blue. Just for funsies. So we're naming this cube blue, just so we know what cube to associate it with. We're going to now double click on this material here. And it's going to pop up a little editor, a material editor for us. And you see by default, it kind of has this general material node that we have a lot of inputs to put in. We can, this is kind of like if you're taking Ryan Bound's class, he's going to go over all this stuff in more detail. For this class, all I really care about is this first one, this base color. For this one, that's all we really want to use. You also have metallic, specular, roughness, anisotropy, emissive, normals, tangents, world position, offsets, all the fun PBR stuff that we're not going to worry about. We're going to click on this base color node, drag it out, and we're going to type in vector 3D. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Okay, constant 3 vector. That's the one we want. Sometimes I type in the wrong things. So constant 3 vector, we're going to click on this. What that does is it gives us channels for our RGB that we can actually assign a color now to this. If I were designing this, if I were doing the blueprints, I would probably just create a color node, make it much easier. That's one thing I noticed about Unreal Engine, they definitely just had engineers working on it. They kind of don't listen to the artists to make things a little bit more intuitive to find. But once you know where to look, it just takes practice and you'll figure it out. So here we have, right now it's at 000, which is black. We're going to double click that guy. And we're going to change the color to blue because we want a blue one, right? So here we'll grab a blue color and we'll move the tone up, kind of a mid dark blue. That looks fine. And then we're going to hit OK on that. And now we have a blue material. Pretty easy, right? So the next thing we need to do is just assign that to our blue cube. And now we're golden. Now we can duplicate that blue cube to our heart's content and delete other ones. So we're going to keep that. So we're going to hit save on this guy. And just to make things easier, I like to batch things out. I like to kind of make a list of what I need to do before I do it, instead of in the middle of my design process says, oh yeah, I need another color. So I decide before I start designing what the palette is I want to use. And so that's why in the cubes I created a red, yellow, and blue, so that I could just do that once and then be done with it and start designing. So now that I have this blue one right here, I'm going to duplicate this material and we're going to call it red. And then we're just going to duplicate that one again. And we're going to call that yellow. Right? So now I don't have to recreate those nodes. It's already done. So we'll double click on the red and we're just going to double click on this node, this vector node, and we're going to change it to a red color. Hit OK. That one's done. We'll save and close. Open up our yellow and do the same thing. Choose a yellow. Okay. Save and close. Okay, so now we have our red, yellow, and blue. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my content folder and under my geometry and meshes. Now I have my original bevel cube. I'm tempted to just delete it, and it came in with a world grid material as well. Like I could just clean all this up a little bit, but I'm not going to. We're going to leave those meshes there. Ideally, what I should have done is created my own geometry folder apart from the new stuff that was created in, just to keep my game clean, that I could update it later. So Rex the Fool says, wouldn't it be better to make instances instead? Yes, Rex, it would. If I were introducing into instances. So yeah, this is the thing. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. But yeah, later on we'll talk about instances, and that would be something especially for Ryan to talk about in his class. Because the truth is, sometimes when you have, especially like I'm working on a little personal game right now where I'm making an infinite walking game for a mobile, right? And I have this material that will bend the vertices so it looks like you're walking over a spherical plane rather than something flat. And rather than recode all that out every time for every single material, just like Rex says, I created an instance of it so I can just change the color of the texture without having to repeat it. So 100% Rex, that would be a more efficient way to do this. But since this is the first assignment, I'm going against efficiency and just going for easiest to understand. So really good comment. For anyone who's just getting started, take mental note to look up instances later, but for this one, it's not necessary. Okay, so I'm going to go to my red cube here. So we'll go to the blue one, and you can see up here at the very top, here's my cube in its own little viewport. So you can kind of take a look at what that object is. And up here on the right, under material slots, we're just going to change that to matte cube blue and hit save on that and close it. And you can see it is now blue down in my content folder. We're going to do the same thing with red. Just kind of batching these out. Use my red material, save it and close it. So a little bit of setup here, but this is good. This is a good intro to, and here's my yellow, a good intro to Unreal. So now we have a whole palette of colors we can use. And so I have my grid set to 100. And now the cool thing is if I drag and drop any of these colors now into my scene, the nice thing is they're stuck to that grid, so they will actually line up perfectly next to each other. So this is kind of like my, moving that guy around, my color palette for working on this level. So what you can do is kind of like if you're oil painting, you know, or actually more correct is if you're digitally painting and you want your colors that you're focusing on for the painting you're working on. Usually you put your swatches up in the corner, right, as you begin to paint and put it all together, so that those colors don't get lost and they're always easily accessible and you can always grab them. So I'm actually going to take these and kind of move them off to the side a little bit, so I can always come back to those and find them. And I mean, later on, it'll be much easier to find them. But now we can just start having fun laying out this level. And like I say, for this assignment, I'm just holding Alt now and just duplicating these. If you want to not use colors, you're welcome to. Let's create a little bit of a path here. I'm going to share a video in the chat of some of the previous, or in the Discord this week too, of some of the previous projects that have been done in the past from this class, just to kind of give you an idea maybe of some stuff you can do for fun. Kind of wish I had a green and then I'd kind of make a tree, but whatever. But you can see it's pretty easy to start just laying out a path and start building some stuff right out of it. Just rinse and repeat. So now we hit play and we can run around on it. All right. Hopefully this makes sense to everybody so far. Pretty simple. So at this point, this is about 10, 20 minutes to set this up. The lost level, how you doing? This is about 10 to 20 minutes to set this up. And then pretty much it's just copy and pasting blocks, holding down Alt to duplicate them, select and delete, and then just having fun. Right? So there's always a little bit of a technical setup, and then you just create and have fun with it. But say this is kind of where I'm done with my level. We're just going to leave it here because I did want to show you how to create that .exe that is crucial for this assignment. So here under to create playable that I can then send to somebody to play, or you've made some amazing masterpiece and you just want to put it up on itch.io because you know that it's going to probably get a Kickstarter after it. We're going to hit file and over here under brain's not working, package project. So file package project, and you'll see you'll have a whole bunch of options here. Whether you want to export it package it for Android, HoloLens, iOS, Linux, Lumen, tvOS, or Windows. So many good options. I don't see any for the Switch or PS5. It kind of makes me sad. But we're just going to go ahead and go with Windows 64-bit because that's what most of us are using. Fun fact, you can't just export for Android. You have to actually go through a whole Android setup. I've done that on this computer, but it was a total pain in the rear so that I can create APK files and play my games on my phone. That's one of the fun little projects I've been doing this summer. But we're going to hit Windows 64-bit on here, and we're going to package it. So you decide where you want to package it. I'm just going to package it, I guess, here right in my project folder, and we'll see what happens. We'll just select this folder, hit package, and then Windows is going to do its thing and start packaging that out for us. We're going to give that a quick moment. Does anyone have any questions so far? Is this clear as mud for everybody? I call it like Hello Minecraft because it's kind of like in engineering or programming. You always have that hello world assignment where you're running your first little script. It is compiling a lot of shaders, which is weird. We'll just ignore that. And the beauty is when I edit this for to post the video for Canvas, I will cut all the weighting out. You gotta love the compiling shaders. It's the funnest part of level design. No, it's kind of fun when when I first started as an intern at Disney, and we were building Toy Story 3. Anytime you made any kind of change to your level or the game at all, it was literally the way it was built is you had to rebuild the whole game. So anytime you ever made a change and then had to test it, it was about a 15-minute build towards the end of the project. And so I would try to make all the changes I could on my level, and then you'd run the build, and then you'd go like watch some YouTube or something for a little bit, or go talk to your neighbor while you waited for your level and build to compile. It was crazy. There was so much downtime every time you had to make a change. And on future projects, they made it so it was all just real time. So you didn't have to build the whole game. And it was just like, you'd make a change, boom, boom, boom. Things just got so better. But that's the way it used to be. There was a lot of waiting involved. And once they kind of fixed those issues, it became a whole different ball game where you could just work so much faster. X Dip Dizzy Whizzle said, sorry, I already said this, but there is our minimum size to our level. There is no minimum. Razor Cheese says, wow, just a full coffee break for each build. Yep. No, I have no rules other than the rules I put in Canvas. So you may reach a point where your PC is having a heart attack running it. But no, go crazy. Do something cool. I'll show some links. Students in the past have done some really, I had one of our grad students made a pretty good replica of the Millennium Falcon. People have done some pretty fun stuff with this. All right, so this just shows you basically that's it for the executable, and then I am gonna eat my own dog food. I want to make sure my executable runs, so then I know that I'm showing the right thing. But really, it's just a couple of clicks for this. Razor Cheese, that's a fantastic name. All right, packaging project. This is the fun part. Just sit and wait. Do. Razor Cheese is almost as good a name as X Dip Dizzy Whizzle. I always get comments too that should you make students use their real names? Which never use your real names on Twitch, by the way. Never use them. I actually think it's hilarious seeing the weird Twitch names that my students have. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna check this out. So we're gonna go under our C drive. Pop this open. Here we go. Our content folder. It should be in here. Let's see. Let's go up one more. Oh, here we go. So the way this should work is the two files you need is the CPP Hello Minecraft and the Windows No Editor. So I actually highly recommend, instead of just putting them in your main content folder, make one that's maybe playable or something like that, because it should be these two folders right here should be the ones that you're going to submit. You're going to put in a zip drive and send to me. That should run your game. So we're going to test this out. So if I double click on CPP Hello Minecraft 1, it should look under the Windows New Editor folder for all the content for the game and run the build. Oh crap, dude, don't listen to me, everybody. Actually, ignore me. Ignore me! I made a big mistake. I ran the wrong build. I actually messed it up. Okay, so we're going to delete this. This is my project folder, and I accidentally copied it over. Okay. So under Windows New Editor, actually, we're going to delete all this. I actually duplicated it. Windows New Editor has all your folders in it. I apologize. I'm going to edit this so I don't sound dumb. This is what I was talking to you guys earlier about. that don't be afraid to say dumb things live on stream. Luckily, I'm going to edit this and pretend it never happened. All you need is that Windows No Editor folder, and this actually has your executable in it. So this application folder right here, if I open up Windows No Editor, change the name, I'll double click that one, and it runs my game. Okay, so that runs my game. You can see I could send this to any of you, and you could play this incredible level that I created, right? This is the full thing. Look at this. I can jump over to these ones. Oh, and miss it, and then fall. And then hit escape, and it won't work. So we're going to... Escape should have deleted that. Stopped it. All right, here we go. D Hutch says no wonder it took so long, but there you go. So the data files we're talking about are under this Windows No Editor folder. Definitely put your name on that so I know where it is. But that has your engine, your data files, and the playable executable level. So that is 1/3 of this assignment. Okay, the other one I wanted to go over with you is actually playing the level and recording it. Rex the Fool says if you don't hook up the escape key to anything, it won't quit the game. I thought it did it by default. I guess I'm wrong. Either way, it's fine. So let's go over how to record it. The easiest way I know is OBS. There are a lot of other recording softwares. I think there's some built into Windows. Have you all ever had any assignments in school where you had to do screen recordings? I know there's a lag. Rex the Fool says, yeah. So most of you should have no problem with this, I'm hoping. I'm going to go over just the quick rundown with OBS. But the truth is, like, this is something that will save your bacon in the game industry, like, forever. Windows has the game bar, which helps. Yeah, so you can win. Where's the game bar? I've never used the game bar. Is that easier? Game bar shortcuts? Wow. Does this take me to it? Xbox game bar. Okay, apparently you can use that. Win plus G. All right, let's try that. Where's the game bar? It's not there. It said Windows plus G. Oh, there it is, the game bar. You guys are showing me new stuff. Win plus G. I kind of want to use the game bar now instead of OBS. Capture is up at the top. So let's do that then. Let's try the game bar. And if this is something that you can walk me through with me having never done it and always used OBS, then everyone else should be able to do it quite easily too, right? All right, so we're just gonna pop this up. I'm gonna hit play. And when you record the footage, it's actually better to have like a full screen footage. So I'm actually gonna run my game. I did not mean to run that. Oh, I accidentally closed my stuff altogether. This is real time, my friends. This is real time. Okay, so let's look at my Minecraft level. So we'll start running that. If you quit an application, it will stop. Awesome. Okay, I need to get rid of this. Okay, we're hit cancel on that. Okay, So let's see how this works. So if I quit this application, it's done. So let's hit WinG. Let's see how this is. So I hit play. WinG. I'm told up here on top, performance, capture. So right here, if I just hit capture, and I'm gonna hit capture, what is happening? So I want video right here, right? Pretty intuitive. So now I'm recording. So now, oh, cool. All right, there we go. This is way easier than OBS, everybody. We just have to find out where it captures to. Right? So think about it. So this is already a 15-minute run. Imagine you're going for like nothing to create, something visually compelling that you can do in 1 minute. So that was incredibly easy. Probably easier than setting up OBS, honestly. So there's no reason any of you shouldn't be able to just capture your game footage if I could figure out, having never done it before, that easily. So is there a hotkey to stop recording? Does anyone know? What if I hit WinG again? Will that pop it back up? It will. Look at that. Boom! It stopped recording. Right? I didn't hook up exit, so I'm actually going to go to my task manager to end my game, which is fine. And now I need to find out where that video is. My guess is under like users. Oh, it'll show you where you save it once you stop. I didn't see. Dang it. Okay. Let's do that. Use the game bar again. Show all captures. Boom! There's my gallery. How beautiful. Open file location. Continue to file location. This will open in a new app. No worries, my friend. Let's do it. Okay, there we are. So it went to users, Gabe, video capture, captures. So I'm going to drag this right out to my desktop. There you go, my friends. This was way easier than OBS. This is why we do this live, and we record these so you can all show me off. So this, because I learn from my students on a regular basis. And this is fantastic. I love it. I like being shown what to do. So the three aspects of this: make a game with a cube, create a 1 minute gameplay footage, and have a function executable. So everything required for this assignment we just did on Twitch right now. Done and done. And if we double click that video, there it is. And we can watch the playback. All right. D Hutch says, "Do I see the Call of Karen on your desktop? If so, what is it and where do I find it?" It's on Steam, my friend. It's a free game. Go check it out. Where do you go to hook up the escape key to the game? We will do that. We will. Okay. Gamma rays, that's a great question. I'm not going to dive into the blueprints for this one. We will do that next for our next assignment. I promise you. I'm trying to avoid. I'm doing my best. It's so hard to avoid blueprints because they're so fun. But yeah, you can use a blueprint. It's like literally, it's a couple keys to set it up. You can put it like in your game mode. So you have the escape key. Crap, should we just do it? Okay. For those who want a little bit more for breakfast. Okay, let's hurry and do that. Rex the Pool says, "I'm sorry, you are forbidden knowledge." It's the you know what? The stolen apple tastes the best. Am I right? Oh, where is my game? Oh, did I delete it? Did I actually? I think I accidentally deleted I accidentally deleted my game. Oh, that's terrible. Let's see if it's in my recycling bin. There it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see if it'll all pop back now. I deleted my level. This is what I get for doing things live on the fly. I mess things up. Okay, so let's go back to my Hello Wanderer playable. I threw it in here. We're going to cut this out. There we go. Raider Gundam says never do this, by the way. Oh, did we just see him say something? Okay, so let's do this. Let's open our Minecraft game that we just made. Delete the homework. Yeah, don't delete your homework. Okay, so let's this really quick. Let's find a way to do this really quick. We're just gonna put this under our third person blueprint because there's already a blueprint there. Third person overview. Double click on this. Third person character. We're just gonna put this under. We could put it under the game mode, but we're gonna put it under character. So we're gonna open up the third person character here, and we have the blueprint for our third person character. My computer ate it. My dog ate it. You can usually, as long as you don't empty your recycling bin, you can get it back. There's always a way. Okay, so we're going to go to our graph here. And I should just delete this part. Anyone who's listening and hasn't done this before, this assignment, do not open this, okay? Just don't open the blueprints until a little bit later. But just to show you gamma rays, because you're getting me in trouble, these are all the game inputs. So this is the gamepad input. Basically tells the player how to move right, move left, all that stuff. You see jump is right here. If I want to stop the player from jumping anymore, I could delete those connections. Now the player can't jump. But basically when you push the jump button, they jump. And they stop jumping when you release it, right? Here's the touch input. If it's mobile, it's all kind of built into there. So what we want to do, and you guys might have to remind me here, I'm going to push key. We're going to click on our keys. That's not the key. Does anyone remember how to find the escape key? Let's just push escape. There it is. So here's our keyboard event. Usually you can just type in what you're thinking and it works. So here's the escape key, right? So this is when I push escape, we want it to do something, right? And so when it's pressed, we want it to do something for us. So we have the escape key here. That's the input for it. I'm going to drag this pressed out. And these are the executable actions that we could choose. And we're just going to try and guess what it is. I think it would just be quit game, right? Boom. So under game, quit game, I just started typing in quit and it popped it up. So now this says quit game. This should work. Let's try it out. So we're hit compile and save. So now I've compiled that blueprint and saved it. And now we're going to hit play again up here. This already quits out of the game when you hit escape. So now we would actually have to build the game again and test it out. So what do you think? Should we build it? Should we package it again and try it? It's going to take a little bit. I actually haven't added this in for a while. Quit preferences, quit, go to the background, ignore platform restrictions. That should do it. Nah, yeah, we'll skip it. But to answer your question, Gamma Ray, that is how you would add escape key to quit your game. Pretty straightforward. So now once I hit escape on the keyboard, it will cancel it out. So if you guys really want to add that to your level, you're welcome to go crazy. It's forbidden though. It's forbidden knowledge, my friends. But you're very welcome. You ask the questions and I'm obliged to answer them. Okay, so that is it. That is it for class today. I thought we were going to end a lot earlier. I think we're about 20 minutes early. But everybody go forth and prosper. This VOD will be saved on my Twitch channel if you want to go rewatch it. And over the next couple days, I'll have it edited for YouTube for more easily digestible video experience, but you should be able to just scrub through it to the sections that you want to watch if you need to review anything we've gone over. But welcome to the first day of class. I'm excited for this semester to see all the cool level design creations you make and all the discussions we're going to have. So we will see you and your levels on Wednesday. Everybody have a fantastic week. Yeah, it's going to be a great class. Razor Cheese, Rex the Fool. Do you know what would be kind of fun? I wonder if... Okay, I'm just going to end this. Okay, here's what we're going to do, because it just sounds like a fun thing to do. For those of you who are still here, let's... We mentioned one of our environment art professors, right? So everybody, we're going to go raid 3D Mentor right now for anyone who's sticking around. And you definitely don't have to stick around. I just think it's funny to raid one of our fellow professors. So I'm going to start the raid, and we will see you all next week.